بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا صدق الله العظيم. Last week we had discussed in regards to the month of Muharram, and one of the aspects that we discussed in regards to Muharram was the initiation of the Islamic calendar, that where we got the Islamic calendar from and how important is Islamic dates, that we should try and follow the Islamic dates as well. Today the Islamic date to us normally doesn't really mean anything. That is why generally we don't even know what is the Islamic date. Once we were by Maulana Daya Saheb of Binoni, one was Maulana Yunus Daya Saheb of Malpro, who passed away, Allah gave him the highest ranks in Jannah, and the other was Maulana Daya Saheb that was in Binoni. So he said one alim, he was once on one occasion, he was performing a nikah. So when performing the nikah, in the nikah book, there's a slot for the English date and the Islamic date. So he said that the alim, now when he came to the Islamic date, he was now perplexed. He didn't know what to do. So Maulana Daya Saheb, he saw him. So he always carries the Islamic calendar. Every month there is a Islamic calendar that is sent to the various emails. You subscribe to it, for example, to the Jamiyat office or whoever distributes it, and they will send you the Islamic calendar. So he said immediately he realized he doesn't know the Islamic date. That is why he is a little worried. So he just took it out from his pocket and he went and he said, Maulana, there's the date. And immediately he wrote it. So see, we can be in the work of deen also. Many a time we don't even know what is the Islamic date. Our mashayikh say very easy. They say that like how we read Tarawih Salah. In Tarawih Salah, for the first 4 nights, we read 1.25 para. And thereafter we read 1 para. So by the end, 29th night, we finish our Quran Sharif. So if a person, he comes onto this system, he'll remember the Islamic date also, because you know which para you're reading for that day, and you know exactly what is the Islamic date. So Islamic date is very, very important. On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Abrarul Haq Saheb Hardoi Rahmatullah Alayh, Hazrat was coming to South Africa. So when he was coming to South Africa, then Darul Azarwal and Darul Zakaria, they said that let us invite Hazrat Maulana Abrarul Haq Saheb Rahmatullah Alayh to the Jalsa. And you know, Hazrat was Muhiyyus Sunnah. What a great alim he was. He was a Khalifa of Maulana Thanvi Rahmatullah Alayh. So they decided, they both wrote and they invited, and they said that we should actually come up to you and personally give you dawat to our Jalsa. But we could not come up, so we're writing this letter and inviting you to the Jalsa. So Hazrat Maulana, he was very particular. Everything he would scrutinize, everything he would observe correctly. And then he will see whatever faults are there, he will take the faults out. So when he received the letter from Darul Azarwal, they had the rahal. And the rahal is that bench, like the desk where you put the Quran Sharif. Makkah Sharif, they use it, Medina Sharif. Generally in our country, we don't use it mostly. So they had a picture of the rahal. And the rahal was open. So Zamana, he drew a circle over there. He made a circle. And what he said that the rahal is exclusive for Quran Sharif. You don't read any other kitab here. Only Quran Sharif you will read on the rahal. So he said, when this is exclusive, this is only for the Quran Sharif. If you're not reading Quran Sharif has to be closed. Why is this open in your picture? So he said, this is totally incorrect what you had done. The other Darulum, they wrote, and when they invited Hazrat Maulana, they put the English date, and the Islamic date was omitted. So immediately he marked that off also. And he said that you're an Islamic institution. If you're not going to use the Islamic date, then who is going to use the Islamic date? So see all these things, our Akabirin, how particular they were about these things. So Islamic date also we should utilize. Also perhaps many of us don't know there's such a thing as Islamic time also. And Islamic time is normally when we go to Makkah Sharif, we go to Medina Sharif. Then in Medina Sharif you'll see all the namaz times over there. Or like how we have our namaz times here, they also have the namaz times on the board. And on the namaz time that they have the digital one also, and the one that is the old clock as well, the clock. So there, if a person, he notices, he will find that the Maghrib Adhan is 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is Maghrib. Because our day starts when? At the time of Maghrib. So actually it is 12 o'clock. And you'll find Isha time, normally they have on the digital also, they have the normal time and they have the Islamic time. So they will tell you that Isha, for example, is at 7:30. And they will tell you the Islamic time, it is 1:30. That meaning 1:30, 1 hour and 30 minutes have already passed from the time of Maghrib. Now is the time of Isha. So normally that is also there, an Islamic time. Haji Ahmad Nakhuda Saheb, Rahmatullah Alayh, in his home, our Sheikh explained on one occasion we were there. So he says in the morning, his wife is waking the children up. But she's giving a completely different time. It is perhaps at that time of the morning, maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. But the time that she's quoting is maybe 12, 1 o'clock. So they're wondering what she's talking about. She's talking of 12, 1 o'clock when it is 7 o'clock in the morning. Later on they understood that she wasn't using the normal time, but she was using Islamic time. So there's a thing known as Islamic time as well. So in all our matters, we should try to bring Islam into our life. And the Hijrat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make Hijrat in today's time from all forms of the disobedience of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. In the last monthly majlis, our Shaykh mentioned, he says that we can see. He says Allah ta'ala opens up for those people whose hearts are very, very clear. He said we can actually see those people, na'udhu billah, Allah save us, that are involved in zina. He said it is apparent to us, it is totally clear to us that these people are involved in zina. And the next day when he came, when he gave the bayan the next day, then he immediately started. He said one man killed 99 people. And Allah Ta'ala at the door, then he killed 100%. The doors of Tawbah were open for those people. Meaning those that are involved in this wrong, make Tawbah to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, change your life. Today, love of dunya to a great extent has settled in our heart. And today, who regards the love of dunya as a sin, as something that is wrong? We think love of dunya is normal. For a person to have 10 businesses and 5 businesses or whatever it is, the more I get, the better it is for me. But actually, love of dunya also is a great sin. The love of dunya should come out of the heart of a person. In the previous time, in the apartheid era, in our country, you're allowed to open from 8 to 5, except the cafes or whatever it is, maybe a little extended hours for them. But generally 8 to 5 a person was permitted to open. And on a Saturday, 1 o'clock you have to be closed. If you open after 1, they will give you a fine. You're not supposed to open on a Sunday also. Today everything has become opposite. Today in the malls, if you don't open on a Sunday, you're going to get a fine. And if you open a little late and you close a little early, then you're going to be fined. See the difference. Normally, if a person, he goes to a parking bay and he parks in a parking bay. So in that parking bay that you park, the longer you park, the more you're supposed to pay. And the less you park, the less you're supposed to pay. But if you go to the mall, the system has been structured such that if you park for less time, you'll pay more. And if you stay for longer, then you'll pay less. In other words, they want you to spend the entire day over there so that you can spend more money in the shopping mall. So look how the world has changed. On one occasion, I think it was Hazrat Abdul Rahim Saheb, Raipuri Rahmatullah, Shah Abdul Qadir Saheb Rahmatullah. So once he was involved in some discussion of deen or some matter of deen. So once he was involved in that matter of deen, one person came. And this person then, he was an alim also. Who sent him? The Nawab of Rampur. So he came and he told Hazrat Shah Saheb Rahmatullah, he said, see that the Nawab of Rampur, he's inviting you, that you must come over. And if you come, he's promising to give you 100,000 rupees. In that time, 100,000 rupees was a lot of money. So he said, if you come, he'll give you 100,000 rupees. So Hazrat was busy with his work of deen. After that, he listened to him and he said, put sand over your 100,000 rupees. Your 100,000 rupees mean nothing to me whatsoever. No connection whatsoever they had with deen. On one occasion, Allama Yusuf bin Nori Rahmatullah. Allama Yusuf, what a great Shaykh al-Hadith he was. And what kitab he has written also, Allama bin Nori Rahmatullah. His Ma'arifus Sunan, what a kitab he had written. On one occasion, on every month, on a stipulated date, one person would come to Allama bin Nori Rahmatullah, and what was the salary of all the asatiz, of the ustads that are teaching in the madrasa, he will give him the full salary. That this is the salary of all the ustads that are teaching in the madrasa. So on one occasion, this person was little late, just perhaps a little late, 1 hour or whatever the case may be, he got a little late. So Allama bin Nori Rahmatullah, he stood up and he went and he read 2 rakats of namaz. And he made dua to Allah Ta'ala. This person, when he came with the parcel of money, he said, Hazrat, I brought the money and came, I was a little late. He said, finish, my work has been done. I don't need the money any longer. This is that connection they had with Allah Ta'ala. No connection whatsoever with dunya. Immediately, their attention would go to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And whatever they need was, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will fulfill their needs. So this is that connection that it requires. Love of dunya, this we should also make tawbah from that. Allah, I have love of dunya in my heart. Allah, change this love into your love. So this is another aspect a person has to make hijrat from. Take the love of dunya out of our heart. Allama bin Nori Rahmatullah, on one occasion, he had gone for Umrah. So when he was in Umrah, there was one person, normal person, not a Maulana, nothing whatsoever, not a learned person, just a simple person. So this person, every morning when he goes to the Rozai Mubarak, he sees this person is there. Long before me, he's going for Tahajjud Namaz. And he was a Shaykh al-Hadith. And what a pious person, Sayyid also. When he's going there, he sees this person is there long before me in the Rozai Mubarak. So one day when he woke up, he seen that the bed next to him, it's now occupied. Meaning the same person, now he was sleeping. He thought, today I will beat him. So he woke up and he went to make wudu. After he made wudu and he came out from there, after performing wudu, this man is standing with a cup of tea. He said, where are you coming from with a cup of tea? So we thought that he is sleeping. He said that long time ago, I finished, go to Rozai Mubarak, I finished my tahajjud and everything. This man had a stomach problem. So I brought this man that had a stomach problem and I put him in my bed. So he is sleeping in my bed. Now I am offering you the tea. I'm going back to Rozai Mubarak. So that's when Allama Yusuf bin Nuri rahmatullah understood that what was the maqam, what was the position of many people, that perhaps ulama couldn't even reach the position of that person. On one occasion in the madrasa of Allama bin Nuri, we're going off the topic, but rather we mentioned these things what Allah Ta'ala puts in our heart. On one occasion, Allama bin Nuri rahmatullah in his madrasa, there was no funds, there was no money for the asatiza. So they told Allama bin Nuri rahmatullah, Hazrat, there is one way that you can take zakat money. And there is a way that they use, they convert it into lillah, and it can be given as salary to the ustaz. He said, I will never ever do that. Somehow he arranged the money, he got the money, and he gave all the ustaz their salary. He said, from next month, if there's no salary in the madrasa, then if you want to teach, you teach free of charge. And if you don't want to teach, no problem, you can leave, you can go somewhere else where you're going to get your salary. Today, who has the courage to even take that route? It is mentioned the next month, all the asatiza, or immediately all the asatiza that were teaching in a madrasa, they said, we prepared to work over here, we will not leave the madrasa. What love they had for the deen. Allah give us an iota. In fact, one ustad of mine, when I once mentioned that Allah Ta'ala give us a fraction of this, immediately after the bayan, he called me one side, Mufti Amjad Saheb. And he told me, why are you asking for little bit? He said, when Allah has the full potential of giving full, then why are you asking for little bit? Don't ask for little bit, ask for full. He says, many mashayikh also they make this mistake. They say, Allah give us a little bit of it. He says, why ask for little bit? Allah must give us in full. Allah Ta'ala's treasures are unlimited. So this is one thing that contradict them. Even make hijrat from the love of dunya also. A person that has got anger, make hijrat from your anger. Now bring your anger under control. And when the anger of a person is under control, how enjoyable his life is. Imagine that person that is angry. He's getting angry with his wife. He's getting angry with his children. He's getting angry with his workers. After that, how much of regret he has. He feels so ashamed of himself that I was behaving like that. And how can I behave like that? And in the masjid, mashallah, he's Sufi Saheb. So now he goes through so much of regret. But a man that got control of his anger, then what a pleasure life is. Everybody loves that particular person. So make hijrat from our anger also. And all, whether it is the sickness of the eyes, whatever illnesses, a man that's owing somebody money, now make hijrat, make intention that this person that I'm owing him money, I have to pay this money. If I'm going to get away from dunya, you haven't got away. Because if you're owing somebody, tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah, we are going to be caught. Hazrat Maulana Inamul Hasan Saheb rahmatullahi, once he was at the railway station. And at the railway station, this one person came. So Hazrat asked him, platform ka ticket le liya. You bought your platform ticket. Platform ticket in those days, to come on the platform, you had to buy a ticket. So he's at that time, the railway station, it was run by the Hindus. So he said, platform ka ticket le liya. He said, no, I didn't buy the platform ticket. So Hazrat Maulana Inamul Hasan Saheb rahmatullahi said, see, that on the day of Qiyamah, a kafir, no, he's not going to have any good deeds. So your good deeds can't be transferred into the account of this person. So he said, what's going to happen? इनके कुफर का वबाल आपके सर पर डाल दिया जाएगा. That his kufr will now be placed on your head, because you have to pay him, you robbed him also, so that is also going to be placed on you. So all these matters, Allah gave us this opportunity that sort out all our matters. The second thing that we learned from here also was always go against the ways of the Jews and the Christians. Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Saheb rahmatullah used to make dua, Allahumma akhrijil yahudiyyata wal nasraniyyata min qulubil muslimin. Oh Allah, take out Yahudiyyat. Oh Allah, take out this way of life of the Jews, the way of life of the Christians from the heart of the Muslimin. Today with our tongue we are saying, we speak against the Jews, we speak against the Christians, we make dua also against them, we read the Qunut and Nazila in the Fajr namaz also. All this we are doing, but in reality in the heart it is a different matter altogether. And Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, that in one moment or just a little while with Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how strong they had become. That Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala on one side, he's telling his son, I would have taken my sword and I would have slain you. And he's telling his father on the other side, when he showed disrespect to Nabi alayhi salam, na'udhu billah, then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, he threw that stone, but then he went to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, make dua for my father. So much of love they had for Nabi alayhi salam, they had for the sunnat of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How did all this come? It came with the sohbat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Little while, they stayed in the company of Nabi alayhi salam. Today also, stay with the Sheikh Kamil, somebody that got the love of deen. He got the love of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his life. He got deen in his life. And see gradually over a period of time how all this will transfer into you as well. To such an extent, Allah Ta'ala had to instruct Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. That, O Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you stay with those people that call unto their Rabb. They make dua to Allah, they make dhikr of Allah Ta'ala in the morning and the evening. And what do they want? يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ. They want the happiness of Allah. They are thirsty for the happiness of Allah. A person that is thirsty, you give him water, his thirst is now quenched. A child that is crying for food, the mother gives it the bottle, that hunger of that child is satiated. Sahaba were hungry, they were thirsty for the love of Allah. Allah Ta'ala had to instruct Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that, O Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you stay with Sahaba. Remain with them. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ. And don't even turn your attention away from Sahaba. As Hakim Sahib Rahmatullahi Alayhi mentioned over here, he said that why is it that Allah Ta'ala had to instruct Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be with Sahaba? Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, every moment of his life, he wanted to be in seclusion with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So much of love of Allah ta'ala. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, if I had to take anyone as a friend, I would have taken Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala. Meaning he had no friend also, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. It was only him and Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So every moment he wanted to be in seclusion with Allah. As Hakim Sahib Rahmatullah, on one occasion he was in Turkey. They had gone to Konya, to the qabr of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi Rahmatullah. So they were taking a boat ride. So when they were in the boat, so Hazrat Abdul Hamid Sahib mentioned, he said that I looked for Hazrat. I couldn't find him anywhere. So he said, I went in the bottom deck of the boat. I found him sitting alone in the bottom deck of the boat. And then he tells Hazrat Hakim Sahib Rahmatullah, then tells Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hamid Sahib, he said, see, that sometimes when you make the dhikr of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala all the time, we get tired sometimes. So he said, when you get tired now, you no longer can make the dhikr of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then he said, take your thumb. And at that time, just write on your thumb, Allah. How Allah is written, that write Allah like that on your thumb also. Because you are now tired. So in this way also, you will be remembering Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So this is what Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, all the time in the remembrance of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala had to tell him that now, no, take out some time and stay with Sahaba. It is mentioned, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, where did he get all his spiritual strength from? Inna nashi'at al-layli ashaddu wat'aw wa aqwa muqila. That you're standing up at night in tahajjud namaz. This is very, very difficult upon the nafs. And your speech also is correct at the time of tahajjud. There's no disturbance at the time of tahajjud. So that way he got it from, he passed it to Sahaba. And when he used to read that type of a tahajjud namaz, for 5-6 hours of tahajjud namaz, it is mentioned before the fajr namaz, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to sleep a little bit. Just a light sleep, where the wudu also doesn't break. Just a light sleep Nabi Alayhi Salatu Wasallam would have. And then Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala would come and call Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now what was the need for this light sleep at the time of fajr? It is mentioned that in that so many hours of tahajjud namaz, Nabi alayhi salam would reach the arsh of Allah Ta'ala. Now if he's at the arsh of Allah Ta'ala, and now it's time for fajr namaz, he cannot comprehend, Sahaba would not be able to comprehend what Nabi alayhi salam is saying. He is on a different level. Sahaba on the ground, he is on the arsh. So when he used to sleep, he used to come back to the earth. So to say, as Hakim Sahib Rahmatullah says, his aeroplane had taken off. He had gone to the arsh. Now that aeroplane has to land, it has to come back to earth. So he used to sleep so that his aeroplane comes back to earth. So Sahaba could understand and comprehend what Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would be saying. On one occasion, as Aisha radiallahu anha, so much he loved her. She was always with Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. But as Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, he's asking her, Man anti, that who are you? He couldn't recognize Aisha because his aeroplane hadn't landed as yet. His aeroplane was still on the top. So he's asking her, Man anti, that who are you? So she said, Aisha. So he said, Man Aisha, which Aisha? So then she said, Aisha binti Abu Bakr, that I am the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala. So now his best friend is Abu Bakr. So to say, the best companion was Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala. And then he says that, Man Abu Bakr, that who is Abu Bakr? So then she says that Ibn Quhafa, he is the son of Quhafa. But see, when the plane hadn't landed, so Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam couldn't, he was on a different level altogether. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have to come down to this level. So Allah instructed him that you remain with Sahaba. When they got that sohbat of Sahaba, they got the sohbat of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ, they got that sohbat. Everything Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala blessed them with. All the qualities Allah Ta'ala mentions. Today people are saying that these Sahaba, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, Umar radiallahu ta'ala, Uthman radiallahu ta'ala, na'udhu billah, they munafiq. That if the person that is making the statement, firstly, if he's already out of the fold of Islam, then there is no question of him that he has become a murtad. He was already out of the fold of Islam. If he wants to be recognized as a Muslim, read your kalima again, read shahadat, recite kalima, and have the correct belief. Speak highly about the Sahaba, honor the Sahaba ridwanullahi majma'in, then you will enter amongst the group of the mu'mineen. Mufti Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah has written in his fatwa, Any person that swears any Sahabi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or he regards any Sahabi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be a kafir, just by saying that, immediately he becomes a kafir. And the Sahabiyat of Abu Bakr radiallahu, this is the only Sahabi. In the Quran Sharif, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says that he is a Sahabi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah Ta'ala says, ثَانِيَ اثْنَيْنِ إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ. When they were in the cave, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told his companion, to his Sahabi. So only the Sahabiyat of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala is in the Quran Sharif. No other Sahabi has been mentioned in the Quran Sharif. So in the month of Muharram also, the love of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, contradicting the kuffar, contradicting the Jews, all this is a great lesson for us to take from here as well. And there's one more aspect, inshallah, we'll discuss it next week, and that is the aspect of muhasabah, which I have recited, that on the day of Qiyamah it will be said to every person, Iqra kitabak, there's your book, here, read your book. Kafa bi nafsika al-yawma alayka hasiba. You are sufficient to be a witness against yourself. You read now, and you see what is recorded in this kitab of yours, and you take stock of yourself. So this is a month actually that a person should take stock of himself. Allah Ta'ala give us all the tawfiq, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. فاذكروني اذکرکم انا جلیس من ذکرنی. دل میرا ہو جائے ایک میدان ہو، تو ہی تو ہو، تو ہی تو ہو، تو ہی تو، اور میرے تن میں بجائے آب و گل. درد دل ہو، درد دل ہو، درد دل، غیر سے بالکل ہی اٹھ جائے نظر. تو ہی تو آئے نظر دیکھو جدھر. لا الہ الا اللہ محمد رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. لا الہ الا اللہ، 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 لا الہ الا اللہ محمد رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. الہی دل میں میرے غیر کا اثر نہ رہے، سوائے تیرے کسی پر میری نظر نہ رہے. تو کر بے خبر ساری خبروں سے مجھ کو، الہی رہوں ایک خبردار تیرا. لا الہ الا اللہ، لا الہ الا اللہ، لا الہ الا اللہ، لا الہ الا اللہ، إلا الله، لا إله 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 إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. کوئی مجھ سے پوچھے میں کیا مانگتا ہوں، میں اپنے خدا سے خدا مانگتا ہوں. وہ ہو جائے میرا، میں ہو جاؤں اس کا، یہی رات دن میں دعا مانگتا ہو. عطا کر دے وہ مجھ کو اپنی محبت، میں اس کے سوا کچھ اور نہیں مانگتا ہوں. ہے ناراضی جس کی دوزخ سے بڑھ کر، اسی ذات کی بس رضا مانگتا ہو. اصل مجھے دنیا کی خواہش نہیں، میں بخشش بروز جزا مانگتا ہوں. لا الہ الا اللہ، 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 إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. اللہ اللہ کیسا پیارا نام ہے، عاشقوں کا مینا اور جام ہے. اللہ جل جلالہ تعالی شانہ. اللہ 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 اللہ. ایچه شیرین است نام، شیر و شکر می شود جانم تمام. اللہ 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 كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. الله 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 الله. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله ولك الملك كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم اجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم اجعلنا من المهديين. اللهم توفنا مسلمين والحقنا بالصالحين غير خزايا ولا مفتونين. اللهم ثبتنا على الإيمان وأمتنا على الإيمان واحشرنا يوم القيامة مع المتقين مع الإيمان. جزى الله عنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. اللهم اجعل نبينا لنا فرطا وحوضه لنا موردا. اللهم احشرنا في زمرته واستعملنا بسنته وتوفنا في ملته واجعلنا في حزبه. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.